Hey guys, if you're watching this, that means you're probably over at somebody's house doing the Be Bougie wine tasting. Lovey, get me my slippers. So if you're like me, you might not know what bougie means. So I looked it up for you guys. So bougie, what it is, so let's say that you're trying to get to another level, maybe in the things you like to eat, drink. That's what that is. So bougie means you're trying to get to that next level of whatever you like. So what we've got here today is some of our more high-end wines here at Duplin Winery. And that's what's going to be in this tasting. But before we start with those wines, let's show you some of the stuff you're going to get along with this tasting for those of you who are getting ready to do this. So first of all, we've got our Christmas wine jelly. This stuff is amazing. If you like muscadine jellies, this is the one to try. So you guys are gonna try this at this tasting, I'm sure. And also, if your hosts don't have the Savannah Grace cheese straws out yet, tell them to get them out, because these are great in between each of these wines, okay? So you can do two things with this. You can do this in between, and they're really good if you dip them in this jelly, because these have a little bit of a bite to them. That muscadine jelly, dip that right in there, takes that bite away a little bit. And Savannah, you know, that's a little bougie. You've never been to Savannah, you'll know what I mean. All right, so that's those. Everything else is gonna be wine related. So let's get started with this. So we're gonna start with our first wine. This is our Midnight Magnolia. Now, if you've never had our Midnight Magnolia, it is one of our estate wines. Now, what that means is there's three things. First of all, we have to grow these grapes as the Duplin wine family. So within 4 miles of where I'm standing, we have to grow these grapes. So that's one of the things that makes an estate wine. The second thing is after the first year, you cannot fertilize or irrigate these grapevines. So what happens with that is after that first year, it's kind of up to whatever the environment brings in. So what happens most of the time is you get fewer grapes on a vine, but with having fewer grapes on that vine, you get bigger, juicier, and they're more succulent grapes. So it makes a smoother, better tasting wine. Now, the third thing that makes an estate wine is the way that you do the fermentation. Now, your fermentation is called a cold fermentation when you do an estate wine. Most of your wines are fermented somewhere between 65, 70 degrees. Your cold fermentation, you're gonna ferment those down to about 52 degrees. It's a very cold, it gives it that smooth finish. So if you ever had a regular Magnolia or house Magnolia, that's gonna have a little bit of a bite to the end of it. Your Midnight Magnolia, because of that estate process that we use, it's gonna be a lot smoother. So let's give this a look first of all and a taste. So look at it, nice and clear. It's a very crisp taste also. The smell of it, oh, you smell those muscadines. But even smells a little less sweet than some of our wines. This is only about a 7% sugar content in this, where most of ours are like between 10 and about 11 to 12%. So this is a nice mid-sweet. So let's give this a taste. Cheers, guys. That goes down so smooth, man. You don't, there's no little bite to it afterwards, like some of the muscadines you get that bite, which I like. Some people want something a little bit smoother. That's a great one to go with if you want it smoother. It's real crisp. It reminds me of spring. It really does. So that's an awesome, awesome, just good estate wine that we have here. That's gonna bring us to our next wine, and this is called Mother Vine Scuppernong. This is the mother vine. So what that means, if you guys have never heard of the mother vine, it's actually a Scuppernong grapevine in Manteo, North Carolina. And it is thought to be the oldest Scuppernong grapevine in North America. This thing's close to 500 years old. So the story of this though is, and let me tell you this is actually on a gentleman's private property. And what happened was, it's been about 15 years or so ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But the city was out there in Manteo, North Carolina, and what they were doing, they were spraying for weeds on all the telephone poles around this neighborhood. Well, again, this vine is in a neighborhood, and what ended up happening is they were spraying for these weeds on this telephone pole. They accidentally got a little bit of that weed killer onto this mother vine, Scuppernong vine. Started to kill it. So he called some of the wineries in the area. We sent a couple guys down there. They ended up actually helping to save this vine, and the way they did that, I actually saw a documentary on this. It's a neat documentary if you can find it. Look it up. It's online. You can find it. But what ends up happening is you cut that vine back and see where it has turned black, that means those are the dead parts, and that's where the poison has got. And as you go further back, that black is not in there anymore. That's how they saved that. So it was really, really neat to see that. As a thank you, he actually gave us clippings off the mother vine. We brought those back here to good old Rose Hill, North Carolina. And over the past X amount of years, we have grown that, taken clippings off of that, and we have a whole vineyard out there of mother vine clippings. I like to call it children of the mother vine. It's kind of cool, just my name for it. But this is the mother vine. It is a scuppernong. If you've had our house scuppernong, it is really good, but it has that bite to it. And like I said, a lot of people don't like that bite. So if you're looking for a good scuppernong wine without that bite, the mother vine is one you want to check out. So let's give that a taste. We'll give it a smell first. Smell on that. Smells a little bit sweeter, it really does. It smells more like the ripe scuppernongs than those mid-ripe like we had here in the Midnight Magnolia. Smell is awesome, so let's give it a taste, guys. Oh yeah. Again, you get that sweetness of that scuppernong, but it's super smooth going down. That one reminds me of when I was a kid out in my buddy's backyard. His mom and his grandmother, they all had these scuppernong vines they were growing. We'd pick those off there and we'd just eat the inside, that juice without the skin. That's what that tastes like, man. That stuff is awesome. You guys gotta try that, definitely. So that is our mother vine scuppernong. Now we're heading into the holiday season, Christmas, we got Thanksgiving coming up, all kinds of holidays coming up. So we're gonna start out on one of our Christmas wines called Naughty and Nice. Now this is our white Christmas wine. And what it is, it's a blend of a couple of our white muscadine grapes that we use, and we threw a little bit of Niagara grape in there. Now, Niagara grape is a non-muscadine grape, but it's really sweet. You'll find it mainly up in upstate New York. I love most of our wines that we put in with another type of grape like this. To me, that takes that muscadine, takes another, especially we use a lot of northern grapes, so we use a little bit of Niagara, a little bit pink catawba in some of our wines, but those mixed with those southern grapes, it's like the north and the south coming together, and it's just awesome, man. It's great. So let's give this a taste. This is called Naughty and Nice. And the reason it's called Naughty and Nice, if you drink a little bit of it, you stay nice. If you drink too much, sometimes you get naughty, which could be a good thing, I guess. But cheers, guys. Yeah, that's smooth. Again, that Niagara mixed with some of those white muscadines we have, some of my favorite wines. Just throw out there a shout out to one of my favorite wines. Actually has pink catawba, a little bit of Niagara, and a couple of our red and white muscadines. That's called Going Coastal. So if you've never tried that, look for that. That's actually my favorite wine, and it's all those grapes blended together. It's not on this tasting, but if you get a chance, come on down, see us here at the winery, and I'll give you a taste of it, okay? So that's a deal. All right, so our next wine, this is Queen Anne's. This is actually our most expensive wine. It runs right around $32, $33 a bottle. This is a very unique wine as far as muscadine wines go. Your muscadine has a very unique flavor. It's way different than any other grape I've ever tasted. It's super sweet, really fruity. This though, the way we do the fermentation on this, we ferment this outside. We get these grapes actually from another grower. We don't grow these grapes. They're noble muscadine grapes, but the grower that we get them from, they're hand-picked. As far as we go up there, we tell them, okay, we want this row, this row, this row. They bring them back here, and then we do the fermentation outside. So most fermentation that you do is gonna be climate controlled somewhat. This is all done outside. So we get these end of August, middle of September. We start the whole process of squeezing the grapes, crushing the grapes right around September. And so these go into those vats to do the fermentation about end of September. So still here in North Carolina, you're in 90-degree weather. So your fluctuation of temperature can be 90 degrees. It takes about 6 months, 4 to 6 months for these to ferment. So if you're looking at a 6 months fermentation, you're going all the way to around January or February. So you're going from 100 degrees all the way down here in North Carolina. You can get down into the 30s, maybe even in the 20s. So you're looking at a very big fluctuation in temperature. And what that does, it gives you a very unique flavor to your wine. So your wine here, on this one, you're gonna taste those muscadines, but the finish on this, to me, has almost a peppery taste. And when I say pepper, it's almost like a black pepper, not like habanero or jalapeno, but like black pepper. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Really, really unique. So let's give this a taste. It smells amazing. I even smell that pepper a little bit. Definitely. Every time I try that, I get that little bit of pepper taste on the finish of that, on the back end. This wine is amazing with a filet. If you got a filet at the house, cook it up, do it medium rare. If you got somebody there who wants it well done, send them home, okay? You don't want a filet well done, okay? You're not bougie if you're doing a filet well done. If you want a filet well done, go ahead and do it, okay? But I suggest not. But you're gonna take that and have a glass of this with that, and it's, I'm telling you, it's a taste sensation that you don't get that often. So those two things go very well together. All right, so that's gonna take us to our Christmas wine. This is our best-selling Christmas themed wine, and it's just our regular Christmas red. Some people call it Christmas red, some people call it Christmas wine, but it's our best-selling Christmas wine. Now this one, as far as our Christmas wines go, this one to me tastes exactly like walking through the woods when I was a kid. I grew up in North Carolina, and we would see these muscadines hanging in the trees because those vines use those trees as support to grow. We'd go up, we'd pick them off, and we would pop them in our mouth because they're super thick. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll pop them, that flesh will come out into your mouth, you get that sweetness of that juice and that flesh, spit the seeds out. A lot of people throw the skin on the ground because the skin's kind of tart. Kind of reminds me how a plum is. Your plum skin, kind of tart. The middle of it's really sweet. That's what a muscadine reminds me of. But this Christmas wine, this red Christmas wine, it reminds me of eating the skins also, because I do get a little bit of that muscadine, what I like to call the muscadine bite in the end of this. We've got a wine out there called Carolina Red that if you're looking for something that tastes more like just squeezing it and getting those wild muscadines, just the flesh and the juice, that's our Carolina Red. But if you're looking for one that tastes like the skins also a little bit, that's a Christmas wine. And that's the one I go for because it does. It reminds me of when I was a kid walking through the woods. I mean, it smells just like it, man, because we'd step on those things and they'd go in between your toes, and then you get home and you'd smell like that muscadine at the end of the night. And that's what this reminds me of. Yeah. Sweetness at first, and then that bite just hit me right there. I can really get that skin taste in there. That is a great wine. All right, so our next wine that we're gonna do, this is one of our sparkling wines. This one's called Sweet Rosé. Now, if you moms out there, you ladies out there, this is a great Christmas morning mimosa. This is gonna be sparkling, it's called Sweet Rosé. This is a blend of some of our white and red muscadine grapes, and we've just made it sparkling. We've thrown some effervescence in there, and you got a little bit of a peach finish to this. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to do a mimosa out of this, use pineapple juice on this one. It's great. I've tried orange juice and I've tried pineapple juice on this. I like the pineapple juice a little bit better than I do the orange. We've got one out there called Sweet Poppy that's really good with the orange juice. This one's really good with pineapple. So on that morning, after you put those batteries into those kids' toys, sit down and have you a pineapple sweet rosé mimosa. Cheers, guys. Try this out. Oh, that effervescence, it's just relaxing drinking it. But the taste of that, you get that muscadine taste, you get a little bit of peach taste in the back end of that, on the finish of that. And that peach taste and that pineapple together, it's amazing for mimosa. Try it out. That's gonna bring us to our pumpkin wine. So our pumpkin wine doesn't taste like pumpkin. It tastes like pumpkin pie spices. It's got a little bit of nutmeg in there. You got a little bit of clove and cinnamon. Now, the two things I taste more than anything I don't taste the nutmeg quite as much, but I do taste the clove. I really smell the clove. So let's pour this. Take a little smell of this first of all, sniff it a little bit. You do get that clove right there. That's really the smell you get. But the taste, well, just try it and then we'll talk about it. Muscadine, I'm hitting clove right now. The finish on that, definitely cinnamon. This thing's awesome with turkey, man. If you're having a Thanksgiving dinner, you got a big turkey up there, I would dip my turkey in this. I really would, I think. It might be even good in some of the gravy. Add a little bit of that to your gravy, maybe. I don't know, just some ideas thrown out there. Try it. If it's awful, I don't think it would be, though. I think a little bit of that in your gravy would give you that cinnamon taste for your gravy. That would be really good. I'm gonna try that this year. But if not, pumpkin pie. Have a glass of that with your pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie and your turkey, you'll love it. That's gonna bring us to our third and final of our Christmas wines. Now, we do 3 Christmas wines every year. We do the Naughty and Nice, the Christmas wine / Christmas red that we did, and then we also do a specialty wine every year. This year, we decided to stick with our cotton candy idea that we've come up with within the last 2 years. First, we came out with our just regular cotton candy wine. It's a big hit. So this year, we've come up with 3 more, and we've added this 4th one. So we came out with our lime, we came out with our peach, and we came out with our blueberry this past summer. Well, this is our new Christmas wine, and this is cotton candy peppermint. Now, if you're like me, when I first heard they were gonna do a peppermint wine, I'm like, that just does not sound great. But you're gonna be pleasantly surprised on the taste on this, guys, I'm telling you. You're gonna smell it first of all, that smell. You're gonna get that peppermint smell, that cotton candy, and then a little bit of peppermint smell. I get a little bit of muscadine, but I really get that cotton candy and peppermint. Now the taste is unique, so let's give this a taste. Cheers. I get that muscadine taste at first, and I get a little bit of that vanilla that adds to that muscadine. It gives you that cotton candy taste. I got that cotton candy, but the finish on that, you definitely taste the peppermint. But what it really reminds me of when I drink that is a chocolate covered peppermint. You guys know what I'm talking about. They're those little round discs, you bite into them. They got all that gooey stuff in the middle, but the chocolate on the outside and that peppermint chocolate mix. That's what it reminds me of. There's no chocolate in this, but for some reason when I drink that, that's the first thing that pops in my head. So that brings me to Dad, Christmas morning, you just put a swing set together. The kids are out there, they're falling off of it, busting their heads. Just sit down, have a hot chocolate, throw some of that in there, and it's gonna relax you, I'm telling you. Hot chocolate, peppermint, wine, morning cocktail. That's where it's at. That's what we're doing this year, okay? That's what we're doing this year. I'm trying it. All right, so that's all the wines that we've got. So now we've got a couple more things that we've thrown in here. First of all is our Jingle Spice. Now, if you never had one of our mulled spice wines, this Jingle Spice is just, it's amazing. What this is, you take a bottle of apple cider, a bottle of our Christmas wine. Now, I know you've already drank the Christmas wine, so you're gonna have to go buy another bottle, okay? So now you're in 2 bottles, but I'm telling you, you're gonna love me for this because you take that bottle, you put that bottle, the muscadine cider, that's alcohol-free muscadine cider, you mix that together, throw a packet of this Jingle Spice mix in there, and then you're gonna add about a gallon of apple juice. And the last ingredient, you can kind of fluctuate for your own taste. Now, it's what it is, it's Pink Country Time lemonade. You can either put 1 cup if you don't like it quite as tart, 2 cups if you like it a little bit tartar. Yeah, that's the word, tartar. Yeah, tartar, that's what we're gonna say. That is gonna make it a little more tartar. So decide which one you like, do that. And this is about what it's gonna look like. And we're gonna give this a taste. Cheers, guys. Oh my gosh, that tastes like I took an apple pie, melted it, and made it into a liquid. And it just goes down, it tastes just like apple pie, man. That is an amazing thing for a hot toddy, end of the night. It's a cold winter night. Maybe it's the night after or Christmas night, everything's slowed down. You're looking at the tree. I mean, I just imagine sitting there, I'm looking at the tree. I got that hot Jingle Spice in my hand and just, thinking about everything that's happened last year and having that as a final hot toddy that night. That's just, I hope that painted a picture for you. It did for me in my head. So it's just great. So our next and last thing that we're gonna do though is our Jolly Juice. So Jolly Juice, this is our sweetser. There are wine slushies. So what you've got in here, you've got actually 2 packets. You take 1 packet to half a bottle of our Christmas wine. So now you're into 3 bottles of Christmas wine because you drank the one. The other one you're gonna use for your Jingle Spice. And now you're going back to the store and you're gonna buy another bottle of Christmas wine to make our Jolly Juice. Because here's the thing with the Jolly Juice. You take half a bottle of this, you're gonna take 1 of these packets in there because there's 2 packets in here. And it looks like Kool-Aid, powdered Kool-Aid. Put that in, mix that up with the Christmas wine. Make sure you get it all dissolved into there. Then you're gonna pour that over a blender full of ice. Pour that over a blender full of ice, blend that up, and this is what you're gonna get. This is our Jolly Juice Sweetser. I'm telling you, this is an amazing taste. So cheers, guys. It's gonna have a kind of a mixed berry taste. Oh yeah. That's just so smooth and cold going down. If you live down in Florida, your Christmas is probably 90 degrees. So this is what you're gonna want other than that Jingle Spice. So, if you live up north, go with the Jingle Spice. Live down south, you're gonna go with the Jolly Juice. But this Jolly Juice, man, even the side where I live in South Carolina now, we get 90-degree Christmases too. So I usually do this. I love that. And the nice thing about it is this. You have 2 packets in here. Take 1 packet, mix it with half a bottle of that Christmas wine. If you want to take the other packet, go buy another bottle of this muscadine cider, mix that together, half of that, the other packet, put it in a blender full of ice, blend it up, you got one for the kids. So if you do have kids or somebody who's underage with you, you can have a blender full for the 21 and older, then a blender full for the kids. When it's time for the kids to go to bed, switch it up, they'll go to sleep, you'll be fine. Don't do that. Don't really do that. I'm joking. It's a joke, okay? You'll get me in trouble if you do that. Guys, thank you for putting up with me as your host today. Hope you had a good time. I know I did. Please come see us at our winery. We've got one in Rose Hill, North Carolina. We've got a winery in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're getting ready to open up in Panama City Beach, Florida, which should be open right after the 1st of 2023, or like most people say, 2023. Hopefully sometime in January, maybe a little bit after that, but definitely come see us, you guys in Florida, once we get open. Other than that, you can buy everything we've talked about online. So if you like your taste and you want to get some of this stuff and you live in Oregon, you can even order it and have it sent out to Oregon. Guys, have a great day.